Hey guys, my name is Gail. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to guess you clicked on this video because you want to know how to run a Facebook Marketplace sales report so you can file your taxes. Well, I have a solution, a workaround, because Facebook Marketplace, they don't offer the sales report if you're selling using your personal account. Keep in mind, if you are using Facebook for business, that information luckily is available to you, but for the people like myself or you, if you've been selling using your personal account, they give you the orders that you've made in the past and what they've paid you, but they don't give you a report that you can run or query or download. So I came up with a solution for what's going to get me what I need fast in order to report this on my taxes. This hopefully will help you simplify and get you what you need pretty quickly. If that's what you're here for, let's get to it. I am on Facebook's webpage here. It's Facebook Marketplace. And if you click on your sales, you'll be taken to the screen here. If you have any pending balances, you'll see those here. And then you just scroll down here. And what we want to get is a payment history. And again, as I mentioned, I'm going to show you how to pull the total paid. So you'll get each individual paid item and then be able to add those into a column. The individual details of the orders. As you can see here, you'll see the individual totals, but what we really want is the paid item. So if you want to see the details of what taxes were collected, what amount was paid for shipping and all that, that is not what this video is. So let's get to it. Okay, once you're here, this is all the information you're going to need. We're going to want this payment history down here where it shows what was paid for 2020 in my case. That's the year that I'm pulling my tax information for. It's only going to show you what Facebook Marketplace paid you, which is what you need to show what your net profit is. Now, depending on how long you've been selling on Facebook, it could go on for a very long time. But if I hit Control End on my keyboard, it'll take me all the way to the bottom. You might want to do that before going to the next step, because if you have much more data, then it could be that it will need to do a refresh. So once you get to a certain point, sometimes I've seen it where it will think and then it'll start loading more data, and then you can scroll down further. So you might want to make sure you're at the bottom of your report. And we're going to extract all this information, then we're going to filter it down to what we need. So I'm just going to go click right here, just anywhere on the screen, and hit Control A on my keyboard. What that does is it selects all. Everything it highlights will actually be copied into the next step, which will be Excel. If you're on a Mac, it might be Alt A, but I really don't know Apple, so I'm only telling you Windows. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is go to Excel. Okay, and I'm just going to click on cell A1, and I'm just going to paste it in here. So I'm going to paste what I just selected and copied, and by doing that, you can either click on paste up here. You can right click and hit paste from here, which is what I'll do, or you can do Control V on your keyboard. I'm just going to hit paste, and what that's going to do is take all that information and just put it in one column, which is column A. So I'm just going to click with my left click mouse right here. You'll notice on each column, and the same for rows, there will be in between it'll go from an arrow down or right to a plus sign. And what I'm going to do is just click it with my left click on the mouse and drag it. I'm not going to just click once, click and hold it, not let go, drag it, and then you can let go. This is just going to give me a wider column, and I'm going to expand this a little bit so you can see it better. Now what I'm going to do is I don't want all this information, and I just want the payment history. I don't want anything that's pending. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten these, so I don't need a big row like this for just this. And the way to do that is if you click this gray area with your left click on the mouse, and then when you go down here on the sidebar, once it turns to a plus sign, you'll just double click on any of these. When it turns to a plus sign, just hover over it, hold it still, double click with your left click mouse, and it shrinks the rows to fit what's in that row. I'm just going to go down to payment history just by scrolling down, and right above it, I'm going to take this, and everything above it I want to get rid of. So I'll just left click and hold the click and drag it all the way to the top. And then I'm going to, instead of clicking where the plus sign is on the row itself, any of these rows that are highlighted, like 5 for example, I'm going to right click and select delete. And that's going to automatically move the payment history that I stopped at and bring it to cut to the first row. Sorry if some of this is basic. I'm just trying to do this so everyone can do it. So if you're not familiar with Excel, this will help. So what you can see here, just kind of a summary. They do put the paid amount first that they pay you, and then the details of what they paid you for. You can see here in this one, they paid me $23.44 on January 27th. And it included these 3 orders, and here are the amounts for those 3 orders. So if you add these up, you will get $23.44. That's what I mean by details, like each order that's within that payment. If you want the order details, I don't know how to get a report for that. Now, the next thing to do is this is an order by the most recent date. I want 2020 information so I can file my taxes. So I'm going to take anything out that is for 2021. So once again, I'm going to left click on the row here, right here, and I'm going to hold the left click down and drag down, and I'm going to go all the way down until I get to 2020 information. Once I start seeing 2020, then I know I'm done. Okay, so here is January 4th. I'm still holding my left click down, and I'm just going to go all the way till right above here and let go. So this I want because that is what they paid me on December 28th. I don't want what they paid me on January 4th. Okay, so I'm just going to go again on these rows. I'm going to right click on any of these rows I highlighted and delete. So now I've got payment history for 2020. If you have payment history for 2019 or any other period you don't want, you'll have to make sure you just go all the way down to the bottom. And if it continues from 2020 to 2019, you'll want to clear the 2019 out as well. And that's assuming you want 2020 data. Okay, so for me, I just started in 2020, so that's all I need. So what I'm going to do is click where this plus sign is and drag it, just left click and drag. And so I'm just kind of shrinking the column. Now, these do look like they're column on the right and a column on the left, but they're not. They're all one cell and they're all in the column A. They're just right or left justified. So what I want to get from this is the paid items, not the individual items that they paid me for, but the paid total like what you see here. The key word here is paid. So when I was looking at this data, I was like, okay, the unique factor is paid : space $ amount. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this because I want to keep this column here as it's reported from Facebook for auditing purposes should I ever get audited. And then I want to use this data and filter it. So I'm just going to highlight the column A by left clicking, and I'm going to right click here and copy. Okay, and then I'm just going to go to column C, highlight that by left clicking, then I'm going to right click and paste. So all I did was duplicate the column. Okay, so I'm going to play with this column C, and I'm going to leave column A alone. All right, so now all I want is the ones that say paid. I don't want all this in between. I don't want all this nonsense. I don't need the dates. I'm just looking for this information because I already know it's 2020. Okay, so I'm going to highlight column C by clicking the left click on the letter C up here. And I'm going to go up to data on this tab data here, and I'm going to choose sort. Okay, this defaults on mine to have a header. I'm going to uncheck that. So if yours is unchecked, leave it unchecked. And it automatically sorts alphabetically A to Z. So I'm going to click OK. Right, so you have these amounts here, and these represent these individual orders. I don't want those. I want the ones that say paid, and it's going in order alphabetically. So it's starting with symbols, spaces, letters next. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down. Next, you see it's got dates. So now it's numeric order, and it's got the word O for order. And it actually looks like, you can see how it had space, space, space order. Okay, so here's where the paid starts. So you just scroll till you see the paid, and I am just going to highlight right above it, and I'm going to left click on this cell, and I'm going to hold it down and drag it all the way to the top. Okay, and then I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to choose delete, and if you hit just the delete key, it will just delete everything and leave your information down here on row, in this case 474. I want it moved to the top. That's why I right clicked and click delete. And then this way it'll pull up a box and I can say shift all the cells up that are below it. So if I click OK, it deletes the information. So now in 474, that information's not there because it moved it all the way to the top for me. So if I just click Control Home, it'll take me to the very top. So here it is. Okay, now I'm just going to go down here, and there's also other fields that it alphabetized. So it's payment history and the details. I don't want that either. So I'm just going to left click here, hold the click down and drag all the way till it clears out to no more. And this is where I'll click the delete key on my keyboard. So you can see that's the difference. It clears out the cell. Okay, so here's all my paid items. Now I want to be able to add these up. If I wanted to add these columns using the sum field, if I click home, here is the sum field. If I click it and try to click and drag and add, say, just these rows and hit enter, it gives me a 0 answer because this is not a numeric field. It's just a text type general field. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything out except the things to the right of the $sign. And I noticed when I was looking at this that this was the unique factor, as I mentioned before, that said paid, but the $sign is the thing that says, to me, that is, if I use that as a delimiter, it's going to say anything with, we're going to treat the $sign as a tab, and we're going to take anything to the right of that and put it to the next column, which is what I'm going to tell the system to do. So I'm going to left click on the C up here at the top just to highlight the column, and then I'm going to go to data and then choose text to columns. Now you'll get an option to say you want it fixed width or delimited. I'm not going to go into the differences because I'm just showing you how to run this report. Click delimited, click next. And then you're going to leave tab as the option up here. Check the other box and put a $sign here, and this empty, it's probably empty here. So put a $sign there, leave everything else as you see it, text qualifiers, quotes, whatever. Click next, and it'll show you what it's going to do down here. So it's taking the paid and it's replacing the $sign with a new column. And by doing that, it's actually tabbing it to the next column. Okay, so I click next, and I'm just going to click finish. And what it's doing is, again, separating the two columns. So on this column, these are the amounts now, and this is paid. Okay, so I don't really like that it's just 10. I'm particular about it. So I'll left click on this D column, and then I'm just going to format it just visually so it's easier for me, and click home tab. And then right here, you'll see there's a comma. If you click that, it'll make it a dollar amount field. Now, I don't want this anymore because it just says paid. I don't really care. So I'm just going to highlight it and click delete on my keyboard. So it's all gone. Everything in that column is gone. Okay, so I'm just going to click and drag, like left click on the plus sign and drag it over to shorten this column. And I'm going to add all of these up. And the way I'm going to do is just go to the bottom to the last one. You can do wherever you want. I kind of like to leave a space in between, and I'll click the @sum button here. If you don't see this here, it is under the home tab. So if you happen to be in any of these other tabs, you won't see it. Click the home tab, click the auto sum, and it will automatically sum everything, in this case above it. So it's D1, so it's taking the very first row, which is where my first number is, all the way down to here. Okay, and I'm just going to hit enter. So there's my total, 2020. This is what Facebook paid me. You can format it however you want. So now I have this document that I can give to the IRS. If I'm ever audited, I'll show you on this tab. This is really how I'm going to keep it. Here's my data on the left. I had kept this paid just kind of for reference and separated the two columns just like I showed you, but I kept these two. And then I did a total and I said, here's the net paid. And I just made a note here that fees, collected taxes, and shipping are removed from this total. It's not included within this amount. In other words, they didn't give me the taxes they collected and they didn't give me the shipping they collected for their own labels. Hopefully that makes sense. Pretty simple. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. If you know anyone else who could use it, feel free to share it. If it did help you out, please click that like button because it helps the YouTube algorithm a lot. And if you wouldn't mind, take a second, comment in the video and let me know if this did help you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And if you just want to say hi, do that too. I love to interact with my viewers. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I sure hope it helped you. I'm going to put a link right here to subscribe. If you haven't already and you would like to, you can do so. It's not required. Also, if you like Facebook Marketplace, I'm going to put a link right here to a playlist of all my videos where I show you how to list on Facebook. I answer questions and I talk about the updates that they've given so far in 2021. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.